Lovers of freedom.
I will be your end in Biafra liberation. Mụnwa ga-akụchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m akụchi ya, kuchie ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji eme ihe, aga m akụchi ọnụ unu, kuchie ya kpim
Kanu has
until
promised to
Biafra
restore
come.
peace to the southeast region
So I will
in
be your last
2
bus stop.
minutes
For
if he is
us,
released.
anything you did not
Kanu,
hear
who
from
is
this
standing trial for
platform
terrorism,
doesn't
said
exist
this
until
shortly
Mazi
after the
Nnamdi
Federal
comes
High
out.
Court in Abuja ended the proceeding
And when Mazi
where
Nnamdi
he
is
was
going to come
denied
out, it
bail.
will shock all of you. You're watching the program. Do not allow Satan enter you. Only him. Making sure that I demand his release, and if you do not release him, more calamity will befall Nigeria. Go, we come today and say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know. Think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. You. Yeah. And let me tell you one thing again. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. You know, I have said this thing 2 years ago. They thought I was joking. He will come to Finland. The reason I'm fighting for...
Already, the Prime Minister has made remarkable progress and has outsmarted the Nigerian system in many ways. The Prime Minister has done this with the self-referendum. He has done this with opening diplomatic liaison offices around the world. And I think by establishing a proper Biafran lobby in Washington, D.C., the Prime Minister has delivered his masterstroke. And if you can look at the Nigerian media and the social media, you will see that this is something that's been highly publicized.
Program. I say, God, give me 1,000 men wisdom. And you know what? God answered that prayer in abundance. So every problem that have come, God already positioned and put something how to handle it. In fact, I don't think that I have used up to 100 or 50 of those wisdoms, because the problem that is coming is very, all of them look very small.
Yes, lovers of freedom, lovely Biafrans, it is a pleasure, very big pleasure serving you. And our topic today is 1,000 men wisdom. I understand Nigeria that more than 150 lawmakers has to sign for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be released because of people's choice. Mazi Simon Ekpa asked God 1,000 men wisdom. And you hear it in this place. He said he has not even used up to 50 because Biafra restoration is an ordained march from Elohim. Everything is going its way. And here we come to do a deep analysis today so that you will not miss anything in this historical moment we are making. Remember, tomorrow State of the Nation address will shake the entire Africa, if not the whole world. But some of the things that is not in the open will be made open tomorrow. And tomorrow, our eyes that is on the rising sun will increase. Our analysis will come up with more document. So for this reason, we are welcoming Diana Agundebe. Thank you for joining. Yes, all Genu Biafrans are doing it. Timothy, Thank you. Uche Okafor. Thank you. Nnamdi Ogu. Thank you. Biafra Nwa Udo. Thank you. Victor Mboji. Thank you. So, Biafrans, let us see how our Prime Minister destroyed Nigeria. How he destroyed Nigeria. And the reason we have to give praise to Lord God Almighty. Let us continue from here.
Thank you for staying with us. Detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has promised to restore peace to the southeast region in 2 minutes if he is released. Kanu, who is standing trial for terrorism, said this shortly after the Federal High Court in Abuja ended the proceeding where he was denied bail. Recall that the IPOB leader has been in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, since 2021, facing a trial bordering felony and terrorism, amongst others. Speaking with journalists on Tuesday, Kanu said he suspected some government officials were making a fortune from insecurity. Take a listen.
And they're doing it because I'm in DSS. That's why even once I did not try this rubbish, and they know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. They are making money with insecurity. They're making money with it. They know now the Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop.
Anybody involved in any form of violence or insecurity in the southeast, in the name of IPOB, and they know it. Let me come out of this nonsense, this mess. 2 minutes only. Only 2 minutes, I guarantee you. And there will be peace in the east, not just south. Everywhere in the east, not the entire south.
All right, in the studio with me to discuss this is political analyst, social commentator, Ziggy Ibe. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And also in the studio with me, Igbo Youth Congress President, Bright Izocha. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, let me begin with you, Ziggy. This statement made by Nnamdi Kanu has been generating reactions. He's saying 2 minutes, just give him 2 minutes, that if he's released, that peace, there'll be peace in the southeast. And then he also laid some allegations talking about there are those who are benefiting from the crimes and criminality going on in the southeast, because he did not understand how people who you say you are fighting for, you are killing them, disrupting their businesses, indeed saying that you are actually fighting for their interest.
Thank you. This is not new to us now. That statement is pregnant, but in as much as impregnable that the statement is, I would want to think that Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, had not actually known how large that organization has become. In this statement, I meant that organization which he championed or is still championing has actually outgrown him.
Really?
He is speaking from the ground or believe that he is still very much in charge of that organization. But you and I will leave that to him until he is released. And let's see how that 2 minutes stoppage could come on that axis. Because like he rightly observed, people are profiteering from that business. That has become people's enterprise. In fact, they've made commercial ventures out of that organization. And those were the areas Nnamdi Kanu, I'm sure he's not looking at. Nnamdi Kanu has lost grip of that organization from all I believe. Because if you look at the trajectory, right from when it first started, it was actually in total charge. Okay? And we knew how they started. But at a large extent, he grew out of hand. And he himself, when in his second
Was
coming,
this before he was arrested?
no, before the first time the first time before he bolted. Okay? When he came back, he couldn't still control them. Okay? And it's not as if we've not had leadership of that organization in between.
Tussle between.
Okay? In between, yes, because when he left, some other people, Imapafu was at a point leading the organization. At a point.
So, lovely Biafrans, you know, there are a lot of things we have on our table when our PM is applying more than 1,000 men wisdom God gave to him. This man, all of them, we are relying on the sheet of paper which Aloye Jemako went to collect from Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, thinking that Obata Obie will succumb. Imagine if Obata Obie do succumb that time, the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, nobody will be talking about it now. And our PM then give option. And he gave option.
I will sit one-on-one with him. You know, I have said this thing 2 years ago. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. You know, I have said this thing 2 years ago. They thought I was joking. He will come to Finland. The reason I'm fighting for him is that I supported him. I gave him a voice. I gave him a support and gave him the courage to continue doing what he was doing until he got kidnapped. You think I'm going to abandon him? You think I'm going to abandon Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? Even if he come today and say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience. And they say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience. Today and they say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience.
So, if you look deep inside this picture, Biafra is a spirit. If you look deep inside this picture, you will see how Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is being secured. You will see how he is being secured by this man. You understand? You will see exactly how he is being secured. In this 555 Vision program, we teach concerning a picture speaks more than 1,000 words. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words. That is one of our teachings in this place. Here you will see exactly everything we are talking about. And before we continue, Victor, thank you. Then Ndubisi Obi, thank you. Biafra, Mwabweze, thank you. Obi as a mic, thank you. Then everybody that is here, Fidelis, thank you. Don, thank you. Timothy, thank you. Yes. Chinwe, Priscilla, wow, thank you. Then, good evening from Biafran land. Remember, whenever people come from Biafran land, we will let them know that we will bring Biafra from diaspora through internet. We will deliver the message down to them. Tomorrow will be State of the Nation broadcast. State of the Nation broadcast that will shock the whole world, especially in Africa and in Nigeria. You will see newspaper, what newspaper is going to do. And we are not shaking to what we are doing. Holy, holy, holy. Nnamdi Kanu is another savior. Simon Ekpa is another savior. John Uchenna. You understand? and everything is going right in order. Nas Ozoku, thank you. Thank you, Peter Okafor. Yes, we are here, we are here, we are here. Our custom is that we will bring all notice, all comments, we have to bring it up in case of tomorrow. Now, we have to really go to the analysis once again. We continue. Listen, you remember our program in this place is critical thinking program. All the people that think critically, they are the people that can be able to be understanding. When your brain used to run fast, that is when you will be understanding what we are doing in this place. This is 555 Vision program, and we wind people brain fast, 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 fast. Then we continue. This man now, listen to him now. Then we continue.
The statement is, I would want to think that Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, had not actually known how large that organization has become. In this statement, I meant that organization which he championed or is still championing has actually outgrown him.
Really?
He is speaking from the ground or belief that he is still very much in charge of that organization. But you and I will leave that to him until he is released. And let's see how that 2 minutes stoppage could come on that axis. Because like he rightly observed, people are profiteering from that business. That has become people's enterprise. In fact, they've made commercial ventures out of that organization. And those were the areas Nnamdi Kanu, I'm sure he's not looking at. Nnamdi Kanu has lost grip of that organization from all I believe. Because if you look at the trajectory, right from when it first started, it was actually in total charge. Okay? And we knew how they started. But at a large extent, he grew out of hand. And he himself, when in his second
Was
coming,
this before he was arrested?
no, before the first time the first time before he bolted. Okay? When he came back, he couldn't still control them. Okay? And it's not as if we've not had leadership of that organization in between.
Also between.
Okay, in between, yes, because when he left, some other people, Imapafu was at a point leading the organization. At a point, some other person grew out of it in the name of this guy from Ebonyi State, the one that controls from Finland.
Yes.
I'm talking about Simon Ekpa.
Ekpa, yeah.
Okay, so it's not as if they don't have a leadership in that organization. So I wish him Godspeed for him to be out of that organization, and let's see the magic he's going to perform in order to stop
so you think that
the ravaging boys as we speak. Well, so many of his boys
are no longer
loyal to him, because he has been speaking from the incarceration room. He has been speaking through his lawyer.
Are you hearing them? Are you hearing them? You know, we bring this news, then we will analyze it. And this time around, as we tell you, the sea has a new challenge every now and then. The sea has a new challenge every day. The way we are doing this broadcast now is something different, you know. So sometimes we will use the response from the horse's mouth himself to respond to people. Oster, thank you. Jude, Mozu, thank you. Sonny, thank you. A lovely flower. Florence says, thank you. Wow, Oster, thank you for the great super chat. Biafrans, you see, it is mighty. We just started good now. Oster have given us mighty super chat. Thank you, Oster. May God Almighty bless you abundant, and they replace wherever you take this money. And the Biafrans, please help us to say thanks. It is not easy for this thing. Then, Oster, thank you. May God Almighty bless you as we continue. Then our PM responded. He came there and they let them know. He came there as all of them are jumping up and down now, telling Biafrans, telling the whole world that Nnamdi Kanu is no more in charge. That Nnamdi Kanu is no more in charge. That is what you heard in this place. So, what they fail to understand is this, that when they recruited 500,000 Iraqs, we defeated them hands down. We defeated all of them hands down. You see, all those people that come from TOS, none of them is talking now. What we are doing now is how we defeated those 500,000 recruited Iraqs. And watch now how we are debunking these people. And you know, when more than 150 lawmakers is getting prepared to sign for the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, then our prime minister has this to tell this kind of people. He has this to tell them. He has a very good message for them. Yes.
I will be your end in Biafra liberation. Mwa ga kuchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m kuchia ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji emehi, aga m akuchi ọnụ unu, kuchia ya kpim until Biafra come. Mkpope ya again. End in Biafra liberation. Mwa ga kuchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m kuchia ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji emehi, aga m akuchi ọnụ unu, kuchia ya kpim until Biafra come.
So, these are the kind people. These are the people you see on Igbo when they went to Abuja seeking for contracts. Fulanis has to sit all of them down. And this kind of journalist you see in this place cannot even speak. But our custom, we have to be bringing out up all the messages here. Thank God. Thank you. Abuchi, thank you. Evans, thank you. Chinwe Priscilla. Our PM, Simon Eba, is a man of his word. He never change. Then we are going, if you have not shared, please join us and help to share, because we sometimes we forget because of how busy we are and how we need Biafra to come. Sometimes we will listen to this message only on our own, but it's good that we share. Please hit the like button, share the message, let it go viral down to the end of this very earth. And that is our promise, the promise we promise Chukwukika Abiyama. Franklin, Frankie, thank you, Frankie. Then we let us continue, please.
Ejimako, yes, and Ejimako many times had brought word from him to his boys. Have they stopped? Because the voice heard from him through Ejimako is the same voice of Nnamdi Kanu. Unless they are telling us what Ejimako was transmitting was different from what Nnamdi Kanu was telling him. Okay, now we've heard him. Let's see how peace comes from that end. So the restivity of these boys were not actually what Nnamdi Kanu could restore as a consult. But that is still in my own imagination. Okay? But what I'm saying is that has become merchandised. It has become an enterprise to so many. Like he said so many government people, when he alleged, so many politicians are complicit in it. That means they're making commercial out of the enterprise.
So it's not longer about the interest of the people?
At all. Because if it were about the interest of the people and agitating for Nnamdi Kanu to come out of the prison and all that, it shouldn't have gone the far it has gone. It is taking too much a position for one to feel that they were actually fighting for the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu. When also, we've had so many issues. First issue was when the sit-at-home was backed upon. How many times had Nnamdi Kanu asked them to stop? Did he stop?
He did not.
How many times had Nnamdi Kanu asked the people? Because at a point they had fractions. ISON was created out of IPOB and all that. So if Nnamdi Kanu comes out, which I wish he could, let's see how 2 minutes stoppage could be seen.
All right, let's get Bright Izocha's perspective to this matter.
So, Biafrans, we are taking it small. We are taking it small. Now, you people have seen, remember that we already destroyed 500,000 recruited E-rats. Now, our eyes is on the rising sun. That is why we are bringing the Nigerian news. In our Facebook, what we are having in that place is Nigerian news concerning what we are doing. And remember, 50 lawmakers already signed for this ideology we are going to hear now. Not all of these people is bad, but you will hear from another person. Then remember, this is 555 Vision Program, critical thinking program. Mental toughness and the mental capability people are the people that can be able to capture what we are doing in this place. Then the people who is working for lobby confirmed and say that our prime minister outsmarted Nigeria because God has given him more than 1,000 men wisdom. Listen and see how it is being qualified in this place. We go.
Saying that that Nnamdi Kanu has lost grip of that body, so to speak. I wonder if you see it in that way, because 2 minutes and ensuring if he's released and peace being restored, we do not know how that will happen.
It is possible.
Okay.
I've been a member of a self-determination group in Nigeria for the past 30 years, and I know how these things work.
Okay.
A leader is always a leader.
So how come they have not been responding to all the statements?
They cannot respond to any message from a third party. Their leader is being castrated unjustly as they believed. And there's nothing I'm going to tell them that will stop them from continuing their activities. Mind you, this sit-at-home every Monday started because of the agitation to get Nnamdi Kanu released from the...
but he told them, like he rightly alluded,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, you see, let me tell you something.
So seeing him on TV make that statement is not enough?
It's still not enough. It's still not enough. Because that statement is anchored on his release. He said, release me, 2 minutes, this thing will stop. He didn't say, stop, because I'm being incarcerated. He said, release me. That means this is
I am referring
anchored.
back to...
I'm
referring
me.
to this time he said that the sit-at-home should be stopped.
You see, whether Nnamdi Kanu send message through his lawyers or not, his people, his comrades wants to hear directly from him. They want his freedom. His freedom is paramount to them. Not what Nnamdi Kanu is saying from the prison. Nnamdi Kanu can be under duress to issue such statements. They don't know what is happening when he issued those statements.
I mean, his lawyers and people who have the access.
It doesn't matter. You see, the lawyers can come out and tell the people, I am a member of self-determination group. If today you arrested me today, and my lawyer is telling my boys, Bright says this, Bright said that, they will not listen to you. They want to hear directly from Bright. They want to see me. They want that my freedom will be paramount in their mind. It doesn't matter what any other person is saying. Even if my mother or my father is telling them that I said so, they will not listen. Because in as much as there is a primary objective that everybody is fighting for, that is structural violence against our people, Nnamdi Kanu incarceration is also a continuation of that structural violence against our people. Mind, the structural violence is directly linked to direct violence. When you are arrested a man, court granted him bail, and you carry the military might to invade his home. Were you going there to kill him or to spare his life? The same thing we witnessed in the case of Igbohu, who have to escape around to Benin Republic. Today, Igbohu have been pardoned, but Igbohu is back to Nigeria. There is also a similar situation that involves so many people. This issue of terrorism and what have you have been charged on a lot of Nigerians. Once you try to agitate for the right and the freedom of your people, the government label you a terrorist. So it's not terrorism, and all this is not a thing of today. We have been hearing that for the past. Someone like Asari Dokubo and all Niger Delta militants have also been labeled the same thing, and they have been forgiven. What is so special about this Nnamdi Kanu that the federal government have refused to let him go? That is the fundamental question everybody is asking. And having said that, let me also reinforce it here that a lot of people and the political leadership in Southeast are making money out of Nnamdi Kanu incarceration. That is
okay. Are you understanding it very, very clear? What we owe you now is to make sure we bring this gospel how it is being made. We will bring this gospel how it is being made. And the time DOS counseled sit at home, then our prime minister was somehow, he said, man, this is not possible. That is exactly what you heard from this man, and why the other person is telling you that Nnamdi Kanu should be abandoned. And don't forget that DOS has people that sponsor them. You understand? And how we are debunked, how we gained knowledge when we finished DOS. That is when we know that the 1,000 men wisdom is working and working mightily. Working. So Biafrans, the one I want to play is this one. Then
men wisdom. And you know what? God answered that prayer in abundance. So every problem that have come, God already positioned and put something how to handle it. In fact, I don't think that I have used up to 100 or 50 of those wisdoms, because the problem that is coming is very, all of them look very small. So as it stands now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is coming out. I have not even used 50 of the wisdom of 1,000 wisdom God gave me. Because, I am telling you, I have not used it. In fact, some of the problems solve itself without me even addressing it. Without me even addressing it. Problem solve itself without me even addressing it.
So why are we doing like this? You see, we know that we are fighting a just cause. Sondike, thank you. Ohe Biafra, Sondike. We know that we are fighting a just cause, completely just cause. That is what we are fighting. Biafra is a spirit, Then we already know what the gospel of Biafra is all about and how to get Biafra. There are people who is also journalists that understand very, very deep the kind of game the autopilot is playing, the bridge is playing, the Simon Eber is playing, the prime minister is playing. People are following. Only the people that want Nigeria to remain one are the people who is blaming our prime minister. But our prime minister told them that now he will be your end. You see it in this place. You have heard how this man defended the seat at home. There is no way you will kidnap some people's leader and expect the third party to come and tell them, stop whatever you are doing to make sure that your leader is free. Look at
the agitation to get Nnamdi Kanu released from the.
But he told them, like he rightly alluded,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, you see, let me tell you something.
So seeing him on TV make that statement is not enough?
It's still not enough. It's still not enough. Because that statement is anchored on his release. He said, release me, 2 minutes, this thing will stop. He didn't say, stop, because I'm being incarcerated. He said, release me. That means this is
I am referring back to, I am referring to this time he said that the sit at home should be stopped.
You see, whether Nnamdi Kanu send message through his lawyers or not, his people, his comrades wants to hear directly from him. They want his freedom. His freedom is paramount to them. Not what Nnamdi Kanu is saying from the prison. Nnamdi Kanu can be under duress to issue such statements. They don't know what is happening when he issued those statements.
I mean, his lawyers and people have access.
It doesn't matter. You see,
do you hear it? He said that Nnamdi Kanu is under duress, and every other person that joined this movement today knew that Nnamdi Kanu is under duress. That's why PM say there is nothing that will ever make him in this life to take advice or instruction from someone inside DSS dungeon. Journalist is here now telling this woman that is a very brown envelope journalist that Nnamdi Kanu is under duress.
Of the agitation to get Nnamdi Kanu released from the.
But he told them, like he rightly alluded,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, you see, let me tell you something.
So seeing him on TV make that statement is not enough?
It's still not enough. It's still not enough. Because that statement is anchored on his release. He said, release me, 2 minutes, this thing will stop. He didn't say, stop, because I'm being incarcerated. He said, release me. That means this is
I am referring back to, I am referring to this time he said that the sit at home should be stopped.
You see, whether Nnamdi Kanu send message through his lawyers or not, his people, his comrades wants to hear directly from him. They want his freedom. His freedom is paramount to them. Not what Nnamdi Kanu is saying from the prison. Nnamdi Kanu can be under duress to issue such statements. They don't know what is happening when he issued those statements.
I mean, his lawyers and people have access.
It doesn't matter. You see, the lawyers can come out and tell the people, I am a member of self-determination group. If today you arrested me today, and my lawyer is telling my boys, Bright says this, Bright says that, they will not listen to you. They want to hear directly from Bright. They want to see me. They want that my freedom will be paramount in their mind. It doesn't matter what any other person is saying. Even if my mother or my father is telling them that I said so, they will not listen. Because in as much as there is a primary objective that everybody is fighting for, that is structural violence against our people, Nnamdi Kanu incarceration is also a continuation of that structural violence against our people. Mind, the structural violence is directly linked to direct violence. When you arrested a man, court granted him bail, and you carried the military might to invade his home. Were you going there to kill him or to spare his life? The same thing we witnessed in the case of Igbohu, who have to escape around to Benin Republic. Today, Igbohu have been pardoned, but Igbohu is back to Nigeria. There is also a similar situation that involves so many people. This issue of terrorism and what have you have been charged on a lot of Nigerians. Once you try to agitate for the right and the freedom of your people, the government label you a terrorist. So it's not terrorism, and all this is not a thing of today. We have been hearing that for the past. Someone like Asari Dokubo and all Niger Delta militants have also been labeled the same thing, and they have been forgiven. What is so special about this Nnamdi Kanu that the federal government have refused to let him go? That is the fundamental question everybody is asking. And having said that, let me also reinforce it here that a lot of people are, the political leadership in Southeast are making money out of Nnamdi Kanu incarceration. That is why they are done.
That's a weighty allegation.
Yeah, it is.
Made. So, because you have to give us the facts.
The more there is crisis and violence in the Southeast, the more their security votes increase, the more they are not accountable to anybody.
How is that?
You see, these people that are governing the Southeast today, a lot of them cannot even come in the village square meeting where others people are sitting to discuss issue of the village.
Why not?
Because you see, in Igbo land where I came from, people ask, son of who are you? It's not about wealth. It's son of the character, because when they know your father, they know your character. There are some of these people that cannot even come out in the village square meeting to discuss issues that concern India.
But who are those who are those that voted them in as their leaders?
We witnessed what happened in Imo State recently. So you can know how these people are being voted into power. Where election did not take place in any place, and then you sit down somewhere and wrote results and throw out there. Because you know there's peace in the land.
Yes, we are here and we are rolling it because of time. And you see, there are people, you will hear it in this place where he said, there are Hausa Fulanis that speak Igbo. And there are the people from the boys of Asare Dokobo. And this woman begin to attack him. Why should you say Asare Dokobo? Why should you say? You will hear it in this place. And before then, we have to call people in. Eldon Kelly, thank you for joining. OAU Joy, thank you. Chukwebere, thank you. David, thank you. Chigozie, thank you. Alvera Perel, thank you. Paul Aduku, my brother, thank you. Flora Kubilo Yenkem, thank you. May God bless you for joining. Chinwe Pisilia, thank you. Thank you, everybody that is here. We bring you up. Flora, speak up, brother. Shame on all those born useless envelope journalists. We are dealing with them. Flora, you know, we are dealing with them. Inside this place and inside our gentle office, we destroyed 500,000 recruited Irats. Today, more than 150 lawmakers is signing their signature, seeking for the people's opinion for the leader of Nnamdi Kanu to be released. You cannot stop us by ordinary sheet of paper. You can't, because we are looking for our freedom. The advantage of more than 1,000 men wisdom is speaking mighty. Jido for Oyenkem, thank you for joining. Valentine, thank you. Lola Norma, I love you. Then Evans is you, I love you. Obieze, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Chima, thank you. Valentine, thank you. Then we have to be making it looking good for everybody to be joining.
Until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out, it will shock all of you. For us, anything you did not hear from this platform doesn't exist until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out, it will shock all of you.
We control the media, and with every boldness inside us, you know, we control the media, and we are delivering this message how we want it. Remember, Musa wanted to change the tactics on how Fulani Boko Haram military will fight Biafra war again. PM told him that, look, this war, we decide how we will fight it. You are fighting asymmetric warfare. You are fighting all this kind of warfare, but the Biafrans are fighting guerrilla warfare. We choose how we fight. And that is exactly what we are doing in this place. We choose how we analyze this program and how it goes. You understand now? And one of it is to make sure that we are bringing people up. You understand? Mobilizing and letting the zoo know that we have numbers. Biafrans have decided that the innocent is also here. Chima is also here. Everybody is writing their own comment in this place, and we are registering them. Roy me, client, thank you. Let them investigate the family background of that woman. Yeah, everybody is bringing his own leg out. People should go and investigate the family background of this woman that is doing this interview. She might be the likes of Igbo politicians. Yes, automatic. That is the thing. Innocent, yes. Stella Ibem, thank you. No matter how angry the dogs are, a lion can never be used for a sacrifice. We are here. Biafrans have decided to go home, and we are telling Biafrans exactly how we are going home and how we are destroying them. We continue.
Land. People will be free to move around and to exercise their franchise of voting for their own choice candidates. But they will not, because they know if such level playground is allowed, they will
So
be
you're saying
nowhere
all the efforts being made by the governments of this in the southeast is just
it's a method.
It's just method. It's not in the interest
show.
of the
It is
people.
a show. It's a
This is something waiting. This is a waiting allegation.
You see, the truth, we know.
Were you there when the security votes were being increased? Were you there?
Are we not seeing the budget on the newspaper and the pages of newspaper and the television every day? Are we not seeing how they spend money, claiming to spend money on this budget to do this town hall meeting, try to pacify people, or try to do this? Are we not seeing how much is being marked for all those things? This is how they are writing off our collective wealth in the southeast. Because if they actually want Nnamdi Kanu to be released today, the political leadership in the southeast, they want Nnamdi Kanu to be released today.
Have you forgotten that they met even with this current president? They spoke with him at some point with regards to this matter.
You see, all those talk shows.
Why do you call it talk show?
Have we let Nnamdi Kanu?
Did they go and meet the president or not to talk about the release of Nnamdi Kanu?
People went and meet the president to pardon Igbohu. Is Igbohu not out? Is Igbohu not free to move around?
So why do you think that they did not do something about this and the conversation did not go around the matter of the release of Nnamdi Kanu? Is it because he's still in DSS custody? You think that is just a show?
Are you understanding that this woman is very, very disappointed by inviting this man, because this man is giving it to her woto? Because in this comment section, our big sister Flora Akubiro says, Nnamdi Kanu said, we will push them and they tell them where to fall. Okwa agaka ogosigebe ebe gada. Okwa agaka ogosigebe gada. Last time when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu came out, he told them that Africa is suffering. We are suffering from Mediterranean Sea. We are suffering in the desert. We are suffering all over the place. And the Africa must stand up. Okwagaka, Ogosigebe Gada. Uchenna, thank you. Glady, thank you. Glady Angel, thank you. We Biafra have decided we don't need Nigeria again. We want to have a country of our own. And that is the truth. Amobi Obi 555 Vision. Good evening, sir. From here, Amobi. Thank you. I don't know if our own Amobi is in the government. If it is you, may Chukwuka continue to give you people strength. Our own is to deliver this message down to the end of this very planet Earth. Chigozie Kosumia. Actually, that journalist is attacking the man direct, taking his matter so personal. We are deep analyzers and we are analyzing everything. Everybody that is watching is taking note of whatever that is happening. People are defending Biafra because everybody needs Biafra. Remember, Nnamdi Kanu is the Lord. Nnamdi Kanu is just the Lord of Africa. The whole Nigeria come up now. All lawmakers, all media houses, all Senate chambers are signing for his release. Special. Do not say that you didn't know how this thing is wrong. Or to read these histories where will happen. Don't say, "Ekwena ka akọrọ gị akọ." Let you become the person that will tell people how it happened. That is why we are bringing it here. Zion Ego, thank you. Obinna, thank you. Bro Anderson, Merrill, thank you. Then we continue.
Joe, do you know if there are other reasons?
I believe so.
Behind he's still being held back?
What are other reasons? What has Nnamdi Kanu done that others did not do? Tell me one. Nnamdi Kanu is not. He doesn't even live in Nigeria. In the first place, to say you have killed anybody or anything. But those who we knew that lived in this country that perpetrated a lot of atrocity have been pardoned. Even those that are still fighting, killing innocent people in the north, are being pardoned every day. The repentant Boko Haram have been pardoned and reinstated in the society.
Have you and your people,
why on earth is Nnamdi Kanu different from others?
Called to question the conversations around the release of Nnamdi Kanu? Have you called the Southeast governors to question, to say, what are you people doing? The conversation you had with the president, what happened? What came out of it? Have you or any of the groups spoken with any of the leaders in the Southeast?
The discussion is going on every day. And what they are
what are they saying?
The truth remains that it's different.
What are they saying?
People can play to gallery. Today, it's not today we know about Nigerian politics.
What did they say?
I can come out here. If I can come out here and tell you that, oh, Nnamdi Kanu should be incarcerated, and I will go out there.
What did the leaders say? You said you have spoken with some of the governors.
What they say is irrelevant as far.
No, it is relevant because I'm asking.
No,
you need to know.
As long as Nnamdi Kanu is still in there, what they are telling us outside is irrelevant. It's like somebody coming to say that I've discussed this person. You say, I'm going to free you tomorrow, and tomorrow you are still there. Did you
follow up on the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is still there, and whatever it is they told you did not come to the light?
Nnamdi Kanu just on his own said.
What did the leaders tell you? We need to
2
know
days.
What they said.
2 days, and this thing.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. This thing will come to an end.
I am still insisting on knowing what the governors told you.
The government don't need to tell me direct.
You said you had meetings with them.
Then I don't have any meeting with them. But those they are meeting with, we are getting a feedback every day.
So what's the feedback you got?
It doesn't do whatever feedback we are getting.
What is the feedback you got?
The truth is that Nnamdi Kanu is still there.
What is the feedback?
Nnamdi Kanu is still there, and as long as Nnamdi Kanu is still there, and there's still insecurity in the southeast, all these things is babas.
What is the feedback you got? If you say you've been getting information, isn't it important to know what feedback they are getting from the government?
The point here is, you see, when you talk about violence in a particular region, you should, one could...
Biafrans, try to understand we are bringing the people who need Biafra and the people who is brown envelope journalists. All of them, we are bringing them out. Ohamadike release many Igbo politicians. Will be all go into exile. When Ohamadike will be released, many politicians will go into exile. They will go into exile. Flora Kubiro, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said, he will lead in front and will bring hell with him. Nigeria is burning in hell today. That is why all the lawmakers is now asking for his release, because Obatobie is in charge. He is in charge. And he said, let us continue, because I have videos to back every of the comment up. We continue, please.
Or the group could equally use the peace as a bargaining chip for their leader to come out, and not using violence or not using unrest. Because if you are priming the environment, you are creating chaos.
For the same people you are trying to fight for.
You are trying to fight for.
In whose interest is it?
And for the same man you think you love so much and you want him to come out. Violence don't beget violence. So the point here is we must learn how to negotiate. That is the word here. When we negotiate, Nnamdi Kanu himself has said that, look, I didn't send these people go killing people. I didn't send these people go cause mayhem. I didn't send these people to cause unrest everywhere. The youth restiveness is about the interest of the people. About the interest, there is a personal agenda, not in Nnamdi Kanu's agenda. If they are actually becoming restive, because Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated. Then what they are invariably telling the government is to hold him to ransom for some time, because you don't cause violence in order to bring or negotiate for someone. You are talking about Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho, when he caused violence in the southwest, he ran away. His people were not killing everyone for Igboho to come out. They negotiated. So it is about negotiation, not violence. If anybody is causing this unrest because you think that is the only way Nnamdi Kanu can come out, that is not truth. It's not.
You see,
we must. I'm coming, sir. We must take this into cognizance that restiveness, the youth, like I said, look, some people are profiteering in this, and that's why they don't want it to go away.
And he has pointed accusing fingers at the leadership of the Southeast.
And you and I might not know what they are trying to do on the background. That is the point.
you see, Ziki.
Because I'm coming. Nnamdi Kanu, when he came out, you and I heard him, he said he didn't accuse any of the leaders. He didn't. He said he knew some people are profiteering from this, are complicit. And you and I, we've been in this country for quite a good time. Opposition parties, opposition elements will use every force possible to bring down an administration. They could use anyone, but don't be used, because you would fall into the wrong hand of the government. And then Nnamdi Kanu, I am sure, if he comes out, the 2 minutes, I repeat, the 2 minutes he is talking about might take him 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Not to actually quell the situation, but to manage it. But then, he had not known the large,
how far
the group has grown. Because if you are not there, you are not there. So he is speaking from his own little knowledge how the group was when he left. And when he comes out, he will now be taken aback. The kind of atrocities they've caused, the kind of merchandise they've made out of this business, and how far they've robbed his name. Now, you are talking that a leader cannot speak through someone. Who said so? It's not possible, sir. If I, Ziggy Ibe here, had a group, and eventually I'm taken in, I can speak through someone. That is a mediator. We've heard that many times. We've seen that many times. Ejimako is his lawyer. We've known this years back. And don't forget, Ejimako and the man in the Finland, Simon Ekpa, you remember a time when they were exchanging words here and there?
Yeah.
And you said, Nnamdi Kanu at a point said, I don't know any other leader for that group apart from myself. And I keep saying it. Nnamdi Kanu didn't know how far the group has gone so far. When it comes out, you will be amazed at the calamity they've caused. That might not be his name. Those calamities might not have been caused, but I said it has become a personal agenda.
Because, I am telling you, I have not used it. In fact, some of the problems solve itself without me even addressing it.
Those elements
by God,
so what we are doing here,
1,000 men
the man,
wisdom. And you know what? God answered that prayer in abundance.
You remember when these people wanted to take over everything? They used the Ifeanyi Ejiofor. They used the Ifeanyi Ejiofor with 500,000 recruited Iraqs. 1,000 men wisdom spread across, and they affected all of us. We defeated them. This kind of journalists you see in this place, there is something our leader, our prime minister, told this kind of people, because he acquired this wisdom and he told them, no matter what we say goes, because we are operating under more than 1,000 men wisdom.
Abundance. So every problem that have come, God already positioned and put something how to handle it.
Yes.
In fact,
so that is how we are going.
Is certain groups within his groups Because when they left, IZON was created. Okay? Remember, don't forget, IPOB wasn't the first agitators, or they were not first group. We have the one led by Masop. Was Rike. It was out of Masop that IPOB came out.
Yeah.
Then after IPOB, Nafa is on, created out of this. All these were offshoot of agitations from individuals who want to cause unrest in a region. The point here is, Nnamdi Kanu, I'm happy if he should come out.
Use that word that want to cause unrest on the region. There are individuals that are trying to address the injustice against people of the
But the way we are looking at this, the way they are looking at this, it is no longer a peaceful situation in the region. It is not. The people have been denied their source of livelihood every Monday. Who accounts for that? You are fighting for people. You are denying them their source. Do you know how many people that have, during the emergency, those Mondays, do you know so many people have died? You are fighting for people.
At some point, some students
can I tell you something?
Yes.
All these groups you are mentioning today will fizzle out when Nnamdi Kanu comes out. Let me tell you.
I think you should have said that. I think you should have said that other groups will spring up from that
coming. When Asari Dokubo was incarcerated by the same federal government, there were a lot of groups that were fighting for his release. Niger Delta People Volunteer Force. And when you hear Niger Delta People Volunteer Force, it was not just an individual organization. There were a lot of forces that came together. But when he came out, he called a meeting of all those leadership, and he addressed them. And what happened? Peace returned to the region. What I'm saying is this. I am not in support of any violence in the Southeast. I have on this studio several times condemned the ongoing mayhem in the Southeast. Because in fact, I even doubted. I doubt if it's the people of the IPOB and the Igbo people that are perpetrating that violence in the South.
Who else?
I am coming. A lot of people today.
You see the woman. See how the woman is attacking
fluently more than the Igbo people. A lot of people who want to destabilize the Southeast could have taken advantage of
that's another allegation. How do you know that it's
Edo people? Mayhem against our people. But having said that,
I'm against Edo people.
I have said it here that I am against sit at home every Monday that is impacting in our economic growth in the Southeast. I'm also against an Igbo man carrying arms to kill a fellow Igbo man, all in the name of agitation, trying to release Nnamdi Kanu. But I'm also saying here that federal government should address the injustices that is going on in the Southeast. Now, let me tell you something. Even if you release Nnamdi Kanu today, even if you kill Nnamdi Kanu today, if you fail to address the injustice against our people, I give you, even if I can't ask them to slow down, I give you few months. Mind you how we get to where we are today. It started from Masop, where Masop was championing a peaceful protest. What is it called? Sit at home, or this non-violent agitation. Our people were being constantly killed in each of their processions. The Nigerian forces, the Nigerian government, remember the issue of Mpo, the Mpo crisis, where a lot of Igbo people, Masop people were mowed down on the broad daylight. Remember the issue in Enugu, in Upper Room, where they went to pray. I've never seen in any nation where people will gather themselves and lock the door and say they want to pray to their God to grant them freedom. And the Nigerian forces invaded them and killed them. We are shouting them that this is becoming too much. And at that point, I feel that people are beginning to ask themselves, how long are we going to continue on this non-violence? And the state is visiting them with a very high level of violence. I think what metamorphosed into IPOB we are seeing today. So when you're talking about Nnamdi Kanu coming out, it cannot be controlled. I disagree completely with you. But I also know that if Nnamdi Kanu should come out today, and if the people of probably those leaders who are working with him, and find out that in 6 months' time, nothing is being done to address the injustice against our people, definitely another dangerous than Nnamdi Kanu will spring up. That is nature. It cannot.
We'll need to understand what these injustices are, but you said something that I needed to clarify. You
structural
said
violence.
Edo people.
Biafrans, you see how the woman now want to stick on that Edo. The man says some people came from Edo to kill people, and we have it in record that the people came from Edo State to kill people in other state, in the Biafran land. Asari Dokubo mobilized his own boys and they sent them to East to come and kill people. This woman is trying now to put this man inside problem. Then let us continue. We continue. I am bringing all the messages up. I am bringing everything up. Please listen to what happened in this.
I did not say Edo. I did not say Edo. I said other
Did you hear
people.
him?
Did I say Edo? As other people, a lot of people speak Igbo in Igbo
You
language
mentioned,
fluently.
I kept saying it, I kept
You are
repeating that
getting me
statement.
wrong.
I kept repeating that
no,
statement because
don't
you
put
mentioned.
Don't put word in my mouth.
I'm not
I did
putting word
say
in your
Edo.
mouth. It is something
I
you said, and I needed you to
Maybe
clarify.
somebody needs to tell you what I said from when you had replayed this.
That
I
as
said
you
a lot of
mentioned your
people-
point, you should be careful what you say.
Excuse me, I said a lot of people speak Igbo fluently
Yes.
in the southeast today.
You
I never mentioned
began
Edo.
with that. You began with that, and then you mentioned
Ziggy,
some other.
I never mentioned
So
it.
as you
I don't
mentioned
know
your
where- I don't know
point,
where you get
as
this
you
issue
mentioned
of
your
Edo.
point,
And
moving
let
forward,
me also say this
please.
again. Let me also say this
Let's
again.
be careful.
The election is past and gone.
Right.
A lot of people who were involved in election violence, those who visited our people with violence, they are all today working a free man. Those who burned down the markets where our people trades in Lagos State, they were all working a free man. But a man who made a threat that did not have the capacity to carry out that threat is still there languishing in the custody of the Nigerian government. And you call that justice? That is the what Johan Gaston classified as structural violence against a people. Anything that you do that deprive the people their human right, their dignity to life, their right to fundamentals and equality in everything in that nation is classified as structural violence. And this now has been carried out against our people since the end of Civil War till date.
Now, can we balance certain things here?
Absolutely. Then there's a need for a balance.
Yes, because if you watch the country we are, no region in this country is seen as being taken care of by the government at the center. No region is not marginalized. I must tell you that. Okay? And if you watch the way things are, we must begin to look at what favors this group, what favors that group. And until peace is brought into a region, you might not see the gains or efforts of any government. Because any efforts of any government onto a group will be a total waste if there is unrest in that environment. For instance, the whole North has about 19 states. Why do we have so much hunger in northern part today? Because of the polarization of the people caused by themselves. Now, there's agitation in the.
You see, the man now knew that the other person is saying the truth. Now he is not going to North. While his own barn is on fire, he is not going to North, running around the bush, brown envelope journalist. We know what we are doing, and because our eyes is right there on the rising sun. That is why we are bringing it out. Everybody here now have noticed this man and this woman, and you see the one that is our brother, Baribo, is running inside his own vein. So we let us hear them complete before we go to another thing.
The whole North, ranging from the bandits, banditry, criminal, no sort of criminalities we don't find in the North. And that's why so many efforts of government to the North might not be witnessed, might not be seen immediately. So it happens in any other place. Until you have peace in a region, the effort of government to that region might not be seen, the gains will not be seen. So it is not a thing we need to say by not agreeing to the fact that until peace return to a region, you might not know how much effort. For the past administration, the one that very glaring and obvious. In the past administration, Southeast gained more from Buhari's administration. And I tell you, Enugu Port Harcourt Road, as we speak, is very motorable and a road.
Are you seeing the brand envelope journalist that the southeast is favorable by Buhari? Look at them, brand envelope people. We are picking all of them one by one.
Road that is of international standard. It was constructed under Buhari administration. That is southeast. We have second Niger Bridge. That had never happened in other regions in this country. So I'm not here to condemn areas government.
Because of road and the second Niger Bridge, we have to accept the Fulanis to come and they slaughter us and take away our land because of second Niger Bridge. That is what this man is buying up with that woman and the people that pay them. But you know what? God gave our prime minister more than 1,000 men wisdom. How many people don't really get why I am doing this program? If not, what these people plan, what they planned, is just complete elimination. But the wisdom, you hear the people, they say that our prime minister outsmarted Nigeria. He overrun them. You know today, if our leader come out now, he is coming to join the bridge if he is still interested. But one thing our PM has done is this. Our PM has removed Biafran agitation from personal affair. And today, Biafran agitation is under government. Even he himself, even PM himself cannot stop Biafran agitation. It is today under government. So this is not a matter that our leader Nnamdi Kanu, whichever condition he wants to sign to come out, let him sign it and they come out. And when he come out, do you know what our PM say? Do you know what our PM say? Let me show you what our PM say, please, before we continue. What he said.
And let me tell you one thing again. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. You know, I have said this thing 2 years ago. They do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him.
You know why we are playing it like this? We are playing this thing because we are keeping all record. Do you see this picture? We already taught the importance of picture. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words. This is how Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is being secured by Biafrans, lovers of freedom, true lovers of freedom, is being secured. His life, everything he gave, he keep in our hand is well secured under bridge, which His Excellency Simon Ekpa today is in charge. That is why he say he option. After the lawyers, do you know that Nigeria people want to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to come and stop what he started? That is the ideology of Nigeria. And I don't know if we will have time to go for another document we have to review. If not, tomorrow we will do it. Maybe we will finish this one, only this one. Tomorrow we will do another document we have at hand. So we continue, please.
Has done well. Okay, and we have to blame. Look, at a point when that bridge was being constructed, do you remember the same community who's supposed to have a favor of that bridge went and stopped the contractors? So ours is to tell any group that is agitating for anything that.
Hey, my big sister Flora, She said, this man's speech is giving me is giving me stomach ulcer. Please be yourself. We are winning the game. Please let it not give you any headache at all, at all, at all. These are medicines. Yeah, but through away. We already win this thing. We are just showing how we want them. So tranquility, tranquility. Second Niger Bridge is why we have to elect Nnamdi Kanu inside. Ezekiel Simon Eber is already doing the needful. Whether you release him or you don't release him, we already go far. Uzoma Donald, thank you. Jidofo Yenkem, Jidofo Keke. All Nigerian journalists are evil. They never speak true. You understand? Chukwu Onyeka. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Sunday Mwa Ezigbo. Thank you. Then Great the Great. He said, no group is okay. Too much messages is here. Then we continue. Then Peter Pan, I give you a Nigerian journalist. Okay, I give you a Nigerian journalist brand envelope. They will testify that godliness is Satan. So you understand that is exactly what we are witnessing, and we are keeping them in our record.
No part of this country is not marginalized. Yes. No part of this country. And if you doubt, tell me which country. Niger Delta had claimed that, the whole Niger Delta region had claimed that oil that is being lifted from their place is not being used.
That they are not benefiting.
They are not benefiting from it. That is marginalization. Okay? So, talk about, what I'm talking about is violence. Once you have a violent region, you might not know how much effort is being put in.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Valentine Clement said, a wisdom man is always a wisdom man is always wisdom all the time. The condition our PM gave to the zoo if they release him made me feel more stronger and stronger. You understand? Because this is a government. This is a government. Chimaire Chukwu, thank you, my big brother. Wisdom man is okay. Then we continue. We are bringing it correct. But control the game. You understand? Yeah. Gallivanting. A new person. But control the game all the time. That condition our PM gave the zoo if he released is making me strong. Everybody is writing it because this is the game. That is what we expect him to write. You understand that? To tell them, control the game. Nnamdi Kanu knows he is a freedom fighter, and he knows the price of being held by his oppressors. We are winning. So Nnamdi Kanu can never betray. He can never betray. And we took oath knowing that he can never betray. Then we continue. Urunwa, afaga na atongwogo. Then Ogro, Sunday John, 555 Vision, please help me take this woman that she's still marginalized. Okay, she is hearing it. Urunwa. No going back. Well, we continue, please.
Talked about leaders in the Southeast.
Right. I need Andy to touch on that.
Leaders of the Southeast, they are making so much effort. Why not so? Do you know how many times they visited the president for the release of Nnamdi Kanu? And I'm sure the talk is ongoing. It is not all about they are not doing anything. No, I'm sure they are doing something. But their effort might not have been yielded.
Please, we are here. We are also in business in this place. Margaret, please go to Google. The most easiest way, go to Google. You have to type Biafran referendum link. When you type Biafran referendum link, it will bring the link on how to vote. You will see the link there. We already made a video on how to vote, but you just go to Google, type Biafran referendum link. It will come out. Then, please, then we continue. Ogro, 555 vision. People can never know that they will never defeat an Igbo man in able peace. Then Cletus, thank you, people. We continue, please. Let us hear them.
They needed fruit. And until then, Nnamdi Kanu to have been granted interview, someone that is in incarceration, you know what that means between you and I. That is not a normal scenario for someone who is incarcerated to have been granted an interview. It's not a normal thing, but he was allowed. And I'm sure his release is very close. The 2 minutes he's talking about, I wished him Godspeed that he comes out the 2 minutes, but I doubt personally that 2 minutes might not be visible because the people, the organization he thought his leader had outgrown him.
Right.
And when it comes out, like you said, when it comes out, so many would still spring up because they might feel about that time that he is not doing what they expected him to do. That is very normal.
Of course. Of course.
So if
let
this
me also
man
bring it to
doesn't
this
know,
angle. You see,
we have 2 minutes, so you need to.
If this man doesn't know, let him just hear again. Let him hear what is happening.
And let me tell you one thing again. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. You know, I have said this thing 2 years ago. They thought I was joking. He will come to Finland. The reason I'm fighting for him is that I supported him. I gave him a voice. I gave him a support and gave him the courage to continue doing what he was doing until he got kidnapped. You think I'm going to abandon him? You think I'm going to abandon Nnamdi Kanu? Even if he come today and say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience. He can never say such thing under his normal, conscience. And they say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience.
They say, we know our leader. PM is still standing strong because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu that he gave us oath to take, that his father and the mother can never speak against the PM or Biafrans or come out to stop this thing. He said our 4 cardinal points. He said it in the court, and these people are not repeating that one. We are winning, and we are winning mightily. Let's see. Okay, we are winning, and we are winning mightily in this thing. Let us hear from this our brother now. Let us hear. They gave him only 2 minutes.
Wrap up your thoughts.
In as much as we are seeking dialogue in this country, let me remind you that I spent 2 years of my productive life in Pro-NACO conference seeking solution to Nigerian problems. And today, we have the man who championed and sponsored the Pro-NACO conference as the hem of affair in this nation. My question is, how long will it take him to start to implement what we have in the Pro-NACO National Conference Organization? And I'm also calling on Professor Wole Soyinka today, the only survivor of the leaders of the Pro-NACO National Conference. But Beck Oran is no more there. Chief Enahoro is no more there, but Professor Wole Soyinka is there. We have a document. When is he going to present this document officially to the president to start implementing a solution? For the first time, the Nigerians gathered together to fashion a document, a constitution that they want to be that want to
we have had series of conversations as Nigerians as
so
well.
if
coming together.
if
Yes.
Tinubu is not comfortable with Jonathan Confab, what about the pro-narco Confab?
Now you are pushing
he is champion.
But recently, you heard the police was state police. Then recently, what's it called? This recent one. There's this recent one too that was asked to go ahead. There's so much going on. The confirm they talk about
amendment of the confirm. There's even an amendment of the constitution.
Yes, amendment is still going on.
Yeah, so there's so many things that the government is saying.
Yes, it's not only Pronaco. During Okuta, they had
this contract called Nigeria cannot work as presently constituted.
It can work if only we agreed.
It cannot.
It can. Nigeria is not bigger than so many countries.
You see, in this place, wow, there is a mighty super chat here. Oh, please, let us come. Oh, let us come. Even Happy Ume, everybody is here. Happy Ume, thank you. Please tell this Imumu woman. You know these people. We just bring them out. They will just bring them out for you people to see how useless they have become. Now you see their conversation. Our eyes is on the rising sun, and if we can be able to defeat 500,000 recruited of them that is making noise in Facebook that time, who is these people? And you remember, we are just bringing you to this way by work. Great the great. Thank you. But wait, mighty super chat is waiting for down here. Wow. Flora Akubilo, you thank you so much. Bless you abundant, because this struggle, Mazen Nnamdi says, only truth. Whenever Biafrans found out that you can tell them the truth, they are ready to do anything. May Chukwuka continue to bless you, and the restoration of Biafra become your reward. Thank you so much. Biafrans, help us to thank Flora Akubiro for the mighty super chat she gave us now. Samuel, thank you. We are bringing some messages up before we listen to all these people that is ranting. The answer our PM gave.
Ike unu kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m kuchie ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji eme ihe, aga m akuchie ọnụ unu, kuchie ya kpim until Biafra come. Mkpope ya again. So I will be your last bus stop. I will be your end in Biafra liberation. Mụnwa ga-kuchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m kuchie ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji eme ihe, aga m akuchie ọnụ unu, kuchie ya kpim until Biafra come. Mkpope ya. Stop. I will be your end in Biafra liberation.
So,
Mụnwa.
Okunu na ana ya. Then ndị akụchiri here now. So, because of our time, at least we still have time, but we will let this one to roll. Flora Akubilo, thank you so much. You see, Biafrans are celebrating while we are doing the job you people, you send us to do. We will deliver this message very, very well. Let us continue and bring up all the messages that is here before we will call it tea, before we enter to the new one. The Lion of Africa. Yes, so the Lion of Africa, Udugu Biafra, my PM Simon Eba. We love you, Jisike. Yes, Ojisike one. Then Okuchi Gofa. Look at ebe ọzọ anyị nọ now. This is ebe PM nọ wee gba ndị a tube and tire. Ebe a ka ọ nọ wee gba afa tube and tire. Here, I wish I would do this thing tomorrow afternoon before PM. Here now you will see the reason Ozokome and Ifeanyi Ejiofor was sacked. And before we go there, let us just come across the
By the judgment of the Court of Appeal that ordered the federal government to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, from detention. The Supreme Court ordered the continuation of the trial bordering on terrorism preferred against Mr. Kanu. And in a unanimous judgment prepared by Justice Garba Mohammed but read by Justice Emmanuel Agim, the 5-member panel of justices say the federal government acted, in their words, irresponsibly when it forcefully brought Kanu back to the country from Kenya against all known laws. However, the Apex Court held that it was not enough to divest the trial court of its jurisdiction to continue with the case. Let's take a listen to the counsels.
We had hoped that it would come our way, but it has gone the other way. It simply means that we have to go back to the High Court and get done with this quickly. We still have hope. We're not in despair.
By the grace of God,
yes. So
victory is assured.
Yes, we will.
At the end of the day.
We will lose a little time. We still have to go back. That's all it means. But I'm very consoled by what the Supreme Court said, that he ought not to have been treated the way he was treated. His bail ought not to have been revoked. His home ought to have been invaded. All that is a consolation to us. So we have hope.
This is victory to our administration of criminal justice, because it shows that once you are an accused person, once you are a defendant, no matter what excuse you want to bring to hide under the law to say that you should not be tried, the Supreme Court have expressly, unequivocally stated clearly that
and I think by
we don't have the legislation that will vitiate the court from trying a defendant that has committed a crime. You must be tried for every offense you have committed. You saw that the court came very heavy on the security agencies, where they have in any way, impaired on the rights, the fundamental rights of the defendant. However, our laws have made very clear provision for remedy. Where there's such infraction on the right of the defendant, then you can such a defendant can go to the civil court and then seek for civil remedies for the violation of his fundamental rights. And that is why, of course, we have the fundamental rights enforcement.
Now, the councils were not the only one.
Yes. So, lovely Biafrans, before we enter this place now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, when he was teaching, when he want to give critical teachings, he will say, I invite you to come and listen to this teaching, the gospel of the day. But if you are, hey, what is this? Is this super chat? Oguro, Sunday. Is this super chat? This is 1,000 naira. Okay. Thank you so much. Per character holding his belly, laughing. Okay, thank you. Okay, my brother, thank you so much. Biafrans, a lot of super chat is falling in this place. A lot is falling in this place because Biafrans are enjoying what we are doing. They said, we promise that we will bring Biafra from diaspora. Through internet, we tell them that they are right. Self-defense is your right. Under self-defense law, that is why I am talking. But let us continue in this place. This is our brother, Ogro Sunday, John. Mechuko Kabiama, bless you so much. Refill your pockets, give you a long life and the prosperity. And the reward he will give you is that you and your children and the generation will enjoy the freedom of Biafra. That is what we can do for now. Udo, what is that? Okay. Before we continue, Biafrans, listen on how we play, how PM destroyed this paper. Udo, close the door, please. Close the door. Then, listen, we go here first. We go here first.
A proper Biafran lobby in Washington, D.C., the Prime Minister has delivered his masterstroke. And if you can look at the Nigerian media and the social media, you will see that this is something that's been highly publicized.
Program. I say, God, give me
stroke. And has made remarkable progress and has outsmarted the Nigerian system. And the minister has made remarkable progress and has outsmarted the Nigerian.
The Prime Minister has outsmarted Nigeria. That is what I want to bring out in this place. And Biafrans, I want us to now take the dose of your common sense, just like our leader used to say. Take the dose of your common sense, then you will be able to see the reason Ifeanyi Ejiofor was sacked, Ozekome was sacked, and the reason, if you hear the early interview in this place, they said they are blaming themselves. They are blaming themselves, and the reason they cannot rendition our PM is the process they have to undergo, and they are blaming themselves. Today, 50 lawmakers already signed. They say they are doing this thing to help Nigeria to clean the shame upon Nigeria. That is why all the lawyers is signing for Nnamdi Kanu to come out. And then Nnamdi Kanu is coming out with this. Something we have to tell you now, which is very, very awaiting to every Biafra, is this. There is something our Prime Minister said when he was doing analysis. He said that Ojukwu had the opportunity to address United Nations. But when he found out that he has nobody on his side again, Owazirike withdrew. Who did I mention? When PM was analyzing, he made us to know that Owazirike had the opportunity to address United Nations under Biafra freedom. But Owazirike found out that this game they used the DOS to play against against our leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is what they played on him. He found out that he has no soldiers again. And for this reason, we stand very, very strong to our Prime Minister, who came to fight for Biafra only to make history. The thing, if you are following our PM, the only thing you see our PM having sleepless night today is just because he wants to make history. He wants his name to be in front of page, nothing more. And for this reason, today, our PM already have that opportunity he is looking for. Tomorrow, State of the Nation address, we will then come out with the other packages we have. But PM is not going to mess up, because if Nnamdi Kanu come out, any which way he come out, he is going to join the bridge. Hey, let me not go too much, but here you will see how Ejiofor and the Ezekome was destroyed. Let us continue.
Continuation of the trial bordering on terrorism preferred against Mr. Kanu. And in a unanimous judgment prepared by Justice Garba Mohammed but read by Justice Emmanuel Agim, the 5-member panel of justices say the federal government acted, in their words, irresponsibly when it forcefully brought Kanu back to the country from Kenya against all known laws. However, the Apex Court held that it was not enough to divest the trial court of its jurisdiction to continue with the case. Let's take a listen to the counsels.
We had hoped that it would come our way, but it has gone the other way.
They hope the matter will go their way, but it has come the other way. Let's continue.
It simply means that we have to go back to the High Court and get done with this quickly. We still have hope. We're not in despair.
By the grace of God,
yes, so
victory is assured.
Yes, we
at the
will.
end of the day.
We will lose a little time. We still have to go back. That's all it means. But I'm very consoled by what the Supreme Court said, that he ought not to have been treated the way he was treated. His bail ought not to have been revoked. His home ought to have been invaded. All that is a consolation to us. So we have hope.
This is victory to our administration of criminal justice, because it shows that once you are an accused person, once you are a defendant, no matter what is...
Please, dear friends, what you will be, at least you know you have to take the dose of your common sense before you will be able to be following. There is a popular song we used to sing in this Biafran struggle. Gọwana mara akwụkwọ kpọba Kọnelụ n'ọdara iwu ndị amị anyị. These are the people that want to jail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And here they are regretting, and they are here blaming themselves in front of the public. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu say, ọkwa aga aka, ogosi gị ebe ị ga-ada. And the PM, with more than 1,000 men wisdom God gave to him, he outsmarted them. You see how lobby in a White House is happy to work with him. That is what you have to understand. They said he outsmarted Nigeria with more than 1,000 miles. Let us then go there. Take the dose of your common sense. Then we go.
Excuse you want to bring to hide under the law to say that it should not be tried. The Supreme Court have expressly, unequivocally stated clearly that we don't have the legislation that will vitiate the court from trying a defendant that has committed a crime. You must be tried for every offense you have committed. You saw that the court came very heavy on the security agencies, where they have in any way, impaired on the rights, the fundamental rights of the defendant. However, our laws have made very clear provision for remedy. Where there's such infraction on the right of the defendant, then you can, such a defendant can go to the civil court and then seek for civil remedies for the violation of his fundamental rights. And that is why, of course, we have the fundamental rights enforcement.
Now, the councils were not the only ones that reacted to that judgment. The governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, also says he respects the rule of law, but believes a political solution could also be considered in this particular case.
I am a governor who believes in the rule of law. And in the country today, when the Supreme Court speaks, that's final. And the Supreme Court, in its wisdom and judgment, considered that he should go for a fresh trial. We can only say, we don't question that, we don't challenge that, we'll just say the rule of law will prevail. And I think that will go through its judicial process. For me personally, and as everyone knows, that I've been aware of the judicial process. But in spite of that, I have persistently and consistently called for a political solution to this issue.
So, dear friends, if you listen in this place, this is when Ejiofor accepted that our leader has to accept another trial. When PM begin to shout and begin to cry, begin to shake everywhere, and he begin to put 6 days sit at home, 4 days sit at home, 1 week sit at home, everywhere begin to shake, because Ejiofor and the Ozokome already accepted that our leader, the case in which he has already won, must to be revised before Aloy Ejimako then take over. What we are doing in this place now is to show you there is somebody that is writing something. I don't know. He said China something. So I don't know the area you are standing. So Ludo, go and sit down. And no. Listen to what we are doing in this place. The reason and how Ejiofor and the Ozokome lost the game. And the Soludo is the person that gave them the ideology of political solution and the command and control. You remember it was Anambra state election that was on board before our leader was kidnapped in Kenya. Immediately that time, they impose political solution. The person who brought the idea of political solution is this man you are looking in this place, Soludo. Then when PM say, no, this will not work because of his smartness, then they brought out another law that is called command and control. Are you getting it? So if you are here, join us. This is a past story, but it's good to bring it to the public how it is done. Be you in mind today that more than 50 judges are trying to clean shame in that name called Nigeria. That is why they are signing to clean the shame of Nigerian people. So we continue. We go.
Now, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this particular case between the leader of the proscribed IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and the federal government. I'm going to introduce my guests, two senior advocates of Nigeria, in a moment. But let's walk you through some very simplistic way on how we got here in the first place. So first, Nnamdi Kanu was rearrested in Kenya and extradited to Nigeria by the federal government in June 2021. Now, he was arraigned at the Federal High Court Abuja before Justice Binta Nyako on an initial 4-count charge of treasonable felony, conspiracy to commit treasonable felony, terrorism, illegal importation of radio equipment, and defamation of the character of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, the charges were later amended to a 15-count charge on terrorism and membership of the proscribed group. Justice Binta Nyako at the trial court had in her ruling dismissed 8 out of the 15 charges, saying that Mr. Kanu had questions to answer in the remaining 7 charges. Of course, Kanu was not pleased, filed an appeal on the remaining 7 charges at the Court of Appeal. The court agreed with Kanu and struck out the case, and by implication, is free to go. And the learned Silk will explain all of that. But the FG swiftly filed a stay of execution. Another panel of Court of Appeal Court Justices sat and upheld FG's stay of execution. Now, the FG appealed to the Supreme Court on the quashed 7-count charge, insisting on continuation of trial at the Federal High Court. Today, the Supreme Court sat and agreed with the federal government that Kanu should go back to the Federal High Court to defend himself. However, the Apex Court frowned at how Kanu has been handled or treated by the federal government, but is at liberty to file a civil case against the federal government. So just a round-off or some kind of a sequence of how we got here in the first place. So my guest to explore all of these issues, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, right here with me in the Lagos studio, is Mr. Wahab Shitu. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
And also joining us virtually is another Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Paul Ananaba. Mr. Paul Ananaba, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
All right. Let's start with you, sir. I'm sure you're quite familiar with this case. And just a legal perspective of what transpired today at the Supreme Court.
Well, the Supreme Court has pronounced. And essentially, the pronouncement of the Supreme Court can be categorized into 3 main aspects. The first aspect of the pronouncement, which is decisive, is that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is requested to go back and be arraigned on respect of the 7 counts, to go and face his trial in respect of the 7 counts earlier decided by the trial court. That's the first one. The second question, which is also very instructive, is to also say that the federal government can be, the way the federal government handled the deportation of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu outside the country to come and face the trial, offense against best practices, actually slammed the federal government for the way and manner it handled the deportation. And also cautioned that is likely to affect, that the federal government henceforth ought to be aware, ought to be sensitive about its image, locally and internationally. That's also a strong indictment. The third one is to say, the bail, that it was wrong of the trial court to have revoked the bail of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu following the invasion of his residence by law enforcement agents. So those are the three key aspects. But as it is now, what is significant about the pronouncement of the Supreme Court is that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is now requested to go and face his trial. Now the question you want to now say is, okay, that is what the Supreme Court has decided. And once the Supreme Court has spoken, that's the final court. There's no appeal. You cannot appeal against the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. That's the law. And I must also say that the Supreme Court correctly interpreted the law, best practices, actually slammed the federal government for the way and manner it handled the deportation. And also cautioned that is likely to affect, that the federal government henceforth ought to be aware, ought to be sensitive about its image, locally and internationally. That's also a strong indictment. The third one is to say, the bail, that it was wrong of the trial court to have revoked the bail of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu following the invasion of his residence by law enforcement agents. So those are the three key aspects. But as it is now, what is significant about the pronouncement of the Supreme Court is that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is now requested to go and face his trial. Now the question you want to now say is, okay, that is what the Supreme Court has decided. And once the Supreme Court has spoken, that's the final court.
So, please, it's like people is not really understanding what we are doing. People, we told you in this place, if you don't have the dose of your common sense, you will not understand this program. This program is how Ejimako, how Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Ozokome. Vale. Okay. This is how Ozokome and Ifeanyi and Ozokome and Ifeanyi Ejimako lost the case. This is exactly how they lost the case, because this man here now is telling you that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has to then accept guilty. Ejiofor accepted that Nnamdi Kanu have to go back to trial before you see what is happening today. That is what we are telling you people. If you doesn't take the dose of your common sense, you will not understand what is happening. Tomorrow, our message will change, because tomorrow they will give us another subject to solve after the State of the Nation program tomorrow by PM. Another subject will come out, things we have to do, because there is win game. But the one you already won, try to understand how it goes. That is what we are bringing to you. That is what we are talking about now. This is how Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Ozokome was sacked because of our PM. Today, if not PM, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, all those cases they charged against him, treasonable felony, everything will be revised back. That is what we are telling you. So from this, we are mobilizing ourselves for a new subject that is coming tomorrow. So we continue, please.
There's no appeal. You cannot appeal against the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. That's the law. And I must also say that the Supreme Court correctly interpreted the law. Because it's just like the analogy one can give to this is the issue of stolen evidence. If you steal evidence, which is relevant in a court of competent jurisdiction, the fact that that evidence is stolen does not derogate from his admissibility. So you cannot say because the evidence was stolen, then it is not relevant. That's Section 14 of the Evidence Act. So as far as the law is concerned, the Supreme Court, the apex court, has correctly interpreted the law the way it should be interpreted. But the question that we should ask is that how do we deal with the Nnamdi Kanu situation? I'm in favor of a unified country. I'm in favor of a country that is united. A country that will... The Nnamdi Kanu situation must be handled very carefully. And this is a new regime. I'm in favor of taking a closer look, notwithstanding the case as pronounced by the Supreme Court. It's a very sensitive case. The governor of Anambra State mentioned the issue of adopting a political solution. I think that also should be on the table. Yeah. But I said you want to stop me here because I have some other, clarifications I want to make. But I can. But
on the case, right?
On the case.
Yes, but we're going to come to some of the things you're already speaking about. But I wanted to get the perspective of Mr. Paul Ananaba. Mr. Paul, I'm sure you've had the perspective of the learned Silk, your colleague, on this particular issue. I don't know what your interpretation or your perspective is as far as what transpired at the Apex Court is concerned today.
All right, thank you. Wahab Shitu, my brother, I greet you. I agree with Wahab Shitu largely to say that the Supreme Court is final, not because it is infallible. It is infallible because it is final. You have given a rundown of a run-off to where we are today. Really, the expectation of many Nigerians, it was clearly that Nnamdi Kanu will go home a free man today. So it is that may have thrown this to the front burner. And I go further to say that this case does not turn only on law. If it turns only on law, then it would have been a different thing if it was turning only on law. It is both law and security. It's so sensitive, particularly for those from the Southeast and some other people who believe in the cause of Nnamdi Kanu. When you take that into the international law balance, you begin to talk about whether an act by a group that are asking for self-determination is a crime or not, even starting with the OAU Charter and down. So you see that in Africa, we begin to look at the jurisprudence of the fact that because we needed independence, then some of those acts will be considered not secession or treason or treasonable felony, but really self-determination. So what I want to draw from that is, yes, the Supreme Court has made the point that the decision that, yes, contrary to the decision of the Court of Appeal, that Nnamdi Kanu should face those 7 charges. Remember, the Court of Appeal has dismissed those charges. But the Supreme Court also made the point that the federal government was wrong in the way they handled this. Now, asking a person who has been in detention for all this while and whose detention is causing some discomfort to go back to a civil suit whilst in detention is of concern to me. I believe that the Supreme Court had all the powers, has inherent powers to take any decision in the best interest of the country. It's actually a policy court. So my expectation would have been, having found that the way the arrest was done wasn't approved by the Supreme Court, having found that the invasion of Nnamdi Kanu's residence and all that wasn't acceptable, I had expected that, yes, Nnamdi Kanu should stand his trial, but the Supreme Court also had the right and the powers to have granted him bail upon certain conditions. That way we de-escalate, because law is an instrument of social engineering and re-engineering. And I want to agree with Governor Soludo that perhaps it is now time, now the Supreme Court has spoken, that even revocation of the bail was wrong. If the Supreme Court had found that when the Supreme Court found that that bail was wrongly revoked, I believe that the Supreme Court would have made consequential orders, even in that respect, to say that that bail be restored. But Nnamdi Kanu will now be expected to go to court again to ask for restoration of bail. You see, the psychological content of law is important, so that a reasonable man will see that justice is not even delayed. I don't know how long it could take to file such applications. That's my concern. But the Supreme Court, I agree, was right in saying, okay, since we are set aside the portion of the 7 counts, go and defend this, the 7 counts before the Federal Court. But meanwhile, since your bail was wrongly revoked, your bail is restored on these conditions. Those are my perspective. However, the position of the Supreme Court remains the law and will continue to be the law.
So Biafrans, this is when they were contemplating to jail Mazen Nnamdi Kanu for life. And as we are coming up, when this news came up, this news now you are about to watch now, everybody stood up. PM is fighting from every angle. And this kind of news then begin to come.
That Nnamdi Kanu is being held hostage on behalf of the famed unity of Nigeria. That's what it's all about. It's as simple as that. If you mention his name in certain circles, they don't want to hear it because they feel like he threatens the real estate called Nigeria. Well, what you must know is that Nnamdi Kanu is being held hostage on behalf of the famed unity of Nigeria. That's what it's all about. It's as simple as that. If you mention his name in certain circles, they don't want to hear it because they feel like he threatens the real estate called Nigeria.
So we are bringing this news like this, recording everything we are recording. This China person, I can't even read your name. So if you don't like what we are doing, you go away from here. And our people is here. And if you don't think we are getting it right, you go and open up your own channel. From the 2023 Nnamdi Kanu came out. So however you want to do, we are bringing our news how we are bringing it because we are keeping record on how we are fighting.
And I urge that every Nigerian should respect the decision of the Supreme Court and follow through rule of law. All I've said is my expectations. But
all right, Mr. Ananaba.
Whatever the Supreme Court
Mr. Ananaba, if I can butt in, so I can come back into the studio. I'll come back to you, Mr. Ananaba. Mr. Shitu, I was listening to some of the things you were saying, and then for those who are not legal minds like yourselves and who want to understand why The reason why he appealed in the first place is because 8 was quashed and they sustained the other 7. And that same court is where it's going back to. They will be wondering psychologically, what will be his expectation from that particular court at the end of the day. I don't know whether I made that question as plain, as simplistic as I can.
This is not how the criminal justice system works.
Which is why you need to educate us.
When you are arraigned for a specific number of counts in a criminal trial process, in this case maybe 15 or 20 counts.
I must read this comment from Divine Precious. Divine Precious wrote, "Our leader extraction has made most of Biafrans become lawyers without going to school. You know, this is the 10-10. There is we preach in this place that there is a way you will push a goat. A goat will push a goat to the wall. Then you will know that the goat used to bite. Then this is the reason Biafran Liberation Army got nervous. Nigeria become on fire. Nigeria begin to boom because justice has been denied to everyone. But one thing is this, that Ifeanyi Ejiofor and the Ozokome accepted this sentence for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu case to be renewed. And after this thing, they were sacked. Ifeanyi Ejiofor then take the lead. That is what we are telling you. Not only that we are doing Biafra and you see that Nnamdi Kanu is coming out. You will see that Nnamdi Kanu is coming out victoriously, because how is he coming out? He is coming out because choice of the people. The lawyers that is signing today, they say they want to cover the shame, and you hear it in this place. They say they want to cover the shame that is shaming Nigeria. Only that Nnamdi Kanu should come out. Then when he come out, he will go to Finland and tell our PM how and everything we play. And that area, we are not going there. We are here now.
And at the end of the trial process, I mean, after the prosecution has led its case, or you file an objection to the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the charges, if the court finds, based on the evidence or the proof of evidence, that some of the counts are sustainable, then you will say that you have a case to answer. And those ones that are not sustainable.
Yeah, messages is coming. Ifeanyi said, I remember when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said, Buhari will give him Biafra. If this thing we are doing is in the hands of Goodluck Jonathan, nobody will be talking about Biafra. And at that time, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say, if he stand up and begin to talk about Biafra when Goodluck was there, that Goodluck will answer to the call. But he say he will push Buhari, and the Buhari is the person who is giving him Biafra today. You understand? So Ifeanyi, thank you for that. So we continue, please. Let you understand.
The court will say, oh, you are discharged and acquitted in respect of those counts, which is what the court has said here. The fact that the court has said you have a case to answer is not conclusive of guilt.
Okay.
It's saying that, oh, come and offer explanations to clear some gray areas in order to be able to either prove your innocence or your guilt. So the window, that does not distract you on the fair hearing, mindset of the trial court. And all lawyers know this fact. In a criminal trial, you have an option to allow the prosecution to call all its evidence, and at the end of the case, when it is your turn, you either elect to defend and meet the case of the prosecution, or you choose to make an application of no case. In which case, arguments will be taken in respect of your application on no case submission, and the court will give a ruling in respect of each of the counts, which is what the court has done here. 8 of them were dismissed, 7 of them were upheld. He felt dissatisfied, and he appealed. the Court of Appeal agreed with him. But unfortunately, the Court of Appeal is not the final court. The state also appealed against the decision of the Court of Appeal. And the Supreme Court has today said, oh, go back and face your trial in respect of the 7-count charge. So what the Supreme Court has done is consistent with the law. Because, you know, the Supreme Court is a court of law, is a court of justice. It's also a policy court. At that level, all issues, the records, everything will be considered. And you can see that the Supreme Court examined all the issues and made pronouncement. They examined the question of his illegal, you know, deportation and pronounced that that is clearly offensive and that henceforth our country should be conscious of his image locally and internationally. That's a strong message coming from the Supreme Court. And secondly, when security agencies invade the premises of a suspect who is on bail, the trial court was not entitled to now revoke the bail after the man fled for his life. Again, that is a very strong statement. You know, so on all issues, the Supreme Court has done justice to the matter. You know, when somebody is alleged to have committed any offense, it remains an allegation.
Yes, sir.
He has the right to prove his innocence or guilt in a fair trial process. I think what we should advocate here are several options open to the federal government.
I was going to that because of time. So, because you have to look at it, this vis-a-vis the tension that has enveloped that region of the country where it comes.
So, what are we doing in this place? If you are a critical thinker, following whatever that is happening, China person, I don't know how to read your name. I am not from China, but what you have to know in this place, as a Nigerian government is making plan on how to rearrange and arrest jail Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, PM is planning something massive. Then he created the Biafran government in exile. Then he created liaison offices, and everybody is booming up and down. Why can't you tell the people how everything played? You understand? This is the history, and we are not moving an inch than to make sure we gather the history, because if we can be able to be talking about the history of Jesus Christ since 2024 years ago, we have our own history to tell, and we are gathering all this history in this place. Remember that Jesus Christ was in court. Jesus Christ went to court before his crucifixion. How do you tell people what happened? This is what we are keeping on record, because Biafra is a religion, and Biafra is the last miracle on this very planet Earth. 50 lawmakers already signed, and more than 150 is in line to sign before ending of July. Are you understanding? This is mighty history that has never happened in the universe. Are you understanding? So if we are, you must give glory to whom honor due. That is what you must understand in this place. So we continue.
We have the issue of IPOB, sit at home and all of that. So with all of this decision, I want you to put in perspective, what is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is the rule of, one option is the rule of law option, which is to say, if somebody is alleged to have committed an offense, he should be allowed to go through the trial process, subject to the guarantee of his liberty. In this case, release him on bail, allow him to face his trial, but don't, while he's facing his trial, don't tamper with his liberty, subject to assurances that he will make himself available, and subject to assurances that he will not commit any further offense, alleged offenses. That's one option. The second option that government can look at, in the spirit of unifying the country, government may look at the exercise. You know, when somebody is alleged to have committed any offense, it remains an allegation.
Yes, sir.
He has the right to prove his innocence or guilt in a fair trial process. I think what we should advocate here are several options open to the federal government.
I was going to that because of time. So, because you have to look at it, this vis-a-vis the tension that has enveloped that region of the country where it comes from. We have the issue of IPOB, sit at home and all of that. So with all of this decision, I want you to put in perspective, what is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is the rule of, one option is the rule of law option, which is to say, if somebody is alleged to have committed an offense, he should be allowed to go through the trial process, subject to the guarantee of his liberty. In this case, release him on bail, allow him to face his trial, but don't, while he's facing his trial, don't tamper with his liberty, subject to assurances that he will make himself available and subject to assurances that he will not commit any further offense, alleged offenses. That's one option. The second option that government can look at, in the spirit of unifying the country, government may look at.
And this is the reason they are talking about this thing.
Well, what you must know is that Nnamdi Kanu is being held hostage on behalf of the famed unity of Nigeria. That's what it's all about. It's as simple as that. If you mention his name in certain circles, they don't want to hear it because they feel like he threatens the real estate called Nigeria. And his Igbo makes it worse because Nigeria's DNA hates the Igbo for attempting, in the 60s and, towards the end of the 70s, to leave a country they said is no longer favorable to their existence. But I keep saying, and I will repeat here again, is there any Nigerian out there in their majority who has not mentally seceded from, and I will repeat here again, is there any Nigerian out there in their majority who has not mentally seceded from Nigeria?
All this thing that is going on, these new lawyers now that pick this thing all up, what this man said in this place, he says that they will release Nnamdi Kanu on bail, then he will be then coming to court. But Ejimako and the PM, government in exile, then say no, this will never work. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has to go home unconditionally. And now the self-defense has to take effect because they want to use the jail of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to legalize cows and they give cows Nigerian passport. And you getting it now to give the cows in Nigeria Nigerian passport. Then PM is working very, very hard to make sure all those things didn't work. Now, when they see that the fire on the mountain is getting very, very high, now they have to accept. The lawyers, everybody should know what these lawmakers is doing. These lawmakers, what they are doing is what you have to know. They said they are running fast to make sure that a lot of lawmakers in Nigeria sign as more as possible, making sure that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is being released under people's choice. So we continue.
The exercise of powers of the Attorney General under Section 174 of the Constitution that empowers the Attorney General to look at the case and decide whether in the overall public interest it is desirable either to continue the prosecution or discontinue the prosecution or enter a nolle, terminate the proceedings. The Attorney General can exercise that. But in exercising those powers, he has to have regard to public safety, public interest, paramount.
So are you saying, just so that before I go to Mr. Nnamdi,
I'm saying that all options should be considered.
So what I wanted to ask is, what advice, in case the federal government comes forward, what advice will you, if you have the chance, to give to Nnamdi Kanu to in terms of the agreement you should come up with the federal government?
First of all, Nnamdi Kanu must, because federal government is concerned about terrorism. Every serious government, allegations bordering on terrorism is a serious allegation. He must be prepared to renounce all, acts, or alleged acts of terrorism. He must give an undertaking. He must be ready to say, he must also give an undertaking to make the peace. To ensure that, because peace is also very important to the federal government. Because in the interest of the peace building process, federal government might want to engage elements who are close to Nnamdi Kanu, including governors from that region, to be able to see whether this matter can be amicably resolved in a manner that will not threaten the peace process, in a manner that will...
Do you hear what he said? That Mazen Nnamdi Kanu must renounce. He must renounce this flag. That is what is happening. And that is what Sowore said in that place. They are holding him hostage because they want to go. And here, our PM has to show something. We have to show it, and we must show it. That is what happened, and that is the story, how it goes.
Made remarkable progress and has outsmarted the Nigerian system in many ways. The Prime Minister has done this with the self-referendum. He has done this with opening diplomatic liaison offices around the world. And I think by establishing a proper Biafran lobby in Washington, D.C., the Prime Minister has delivered his masterstroke. And if you can look at the Nigerian media and the social media, you will see that this is something that's been highly publicized.
Program. I say, God, give me 1,000 men wisdom. And you know what? God answered that prayer in abundance. So every problem that have come, God already positioned and put something how to handle it. In fact, I don't think that I have used up to 100 or 50 of those wisdoms, because the problem that is coming is very, all of them look very small. So as it stands now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is coming out. I have not even used 50 of the wisdom of 1,000 wisdom God gave me. Because, I am telling you, I have not used it. In fact, some of the problems solve itself without me even addressing it. For us, anything you did not hear from this platform doesn't exist until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out, it will shock all of you. Yeah. And let me tell you one thing again. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. I have said this thing 2 years ago. They thought I was joking. He will come to Finland. The reason I'm fighting for him is that I supported him. I gave him a voice. I gave him a support and gave him the courage to continue doing what he was doing until he got kidnapped. You think I'm going to abandon him? You think I'm going to abandon Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Even if he come today and they say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience. Because I contributed in supporting him, giving him the voice that you see him as a threat. You kidnap him. And then today, you want me to abandon him. I will not abandon him. Everything I'm doing today is geared at making sure that I demand his release. And if you do not release him, more calamity will befall Nigeria. Go and mark it somewhere. I'm not hiding my mouth. Calamity will befall Nigeria. And if you continue to be in Biafra land, planning how to kill our people with aircraft, with armor tank, you will all be neutralized. Except I am not fighting a just cause. Except I am not fighting a just cause. You should be ashamed of yourself that somebody is in Finland and that person is your problem. I wonder, why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? I will be your end.
So, Iko Tonya Dezu, thank you. This is night. I have not used the 50 men wisdom, but out of 100 women wisdom. Are you understanding? We are over prepared in what we are doing. This is how they want to regel the person who has already won all cases. So we play it until it's finished, please. No.
Ensure that further acts of terrorism in that region or anywhere are not, anticipated or perpetrated.
Good point. Let me come to you, Mr. Ananaba, as we begin to wrap up. This similar question I asked the Leonard as well, just like you. We have to look at this broadly in terms of national security. If you were to advise both sides, both the federal government, he's giving some advice, both the federal government and Nnamdi Kanu and his team, what exactly would you be telling them just for us to have this national peace and move forward as a country?
Carlo, the Supreme Court has given a decision, and that is the final decision on that point. That is, you are still innocent. There are allegations against you. There are 7. Go and defend it. You had a bell.
Please, dear friends, if you are having joy, listen. Today, Ikotonya days didn't come early. Today, before you can understand our teaching this night, you must take the dose of your common sense. The reason Ifeanyi Ejiofor and the Yekome was sacked is this. Did you hear it here now that Nnamdi Kanu is guilty before the fire begin to burn? Before the fire begin to burn. After they freed him, they want to jail him again. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, in front of us, he accepted. And the last time when he went to court, he went there without paper. And he went there without pen. He went there and asked the judge, what do you do? How do you do? They say, okay, Nnamdi Kanu is guilty. They have to revise his case. He said, okay, no problem. And he came, he said, Umu Chineke, we are winning. Are you getting it? This is the story, how it happened. So we are keeping it. You must know how they fight the war and the reason these lawmakers of Nigeria came up now. You must know this. This is what you have to know. Why they come up and they make sure that they say the unity of Nigeria is in the hands of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, no other person. So, but the game, because of the smartness of our leader, our prime minister, he said whenever he come out, he has to come to Finland and they talk to him. Whatever they negotiate, you hear it here now, how they made the thing. Listen to it.
In terms of national security, if you were to advise both sides, both the federal government, he's giving some advice, both the federal government and Nnamdi Kanu and his team, what exactly would you be telling them just for us to have this national peace and move forward as a country?
Carlo, the Supreme Court has given a decision, and that is the final decision on that point. That is, you are still innocent. There are allegations against you. There are 7. Go and defend it. You had a bail. The judge revoked it. That revocation is wrong. Go back and take due process and ask for your bail. Supreme Court has already said that you are clearly more or less entitled to a bail. Get your bail, prepare your defense, and face up this charge. That is Nnamdi Kanu. For the federal government, I think that the country has so much concerns and worries that this matter ought to be looked at now after the pronouncements of the Supreme Court, showing that this has affected our image abroad, it has affected our image in Nigeria, invasion of property and fundamental rights of Kanu and even the family, beyond even him. So at this point, I think that the federal government should also take a reconciliatory position. And we will achieve more in the country if Nnamdi Kanu's case is taken out. But as a responsible government too, they should get look for some guarantees. Since Governor Soludo has come up to say political solution is there, that can be looked at. And like my brother Shintu said, there are several options. The federal government can withdraw the charge. The Attorney General can enter a nollie and bring the case to an end. And it shouldn't be treated in such a way as if Nnamdi Kanu has been convicted and is now asking for a reprieve. No. Our constitution says that Nnamdi Kanu, even at his detention for all these periods and all that, is still innocent until proved guilty. That should not be denied him. So I look forward to him Nnamdi Kanu going on bail.
Right.
I look forward to his also showing patriotism by ensuring that further issues do not arise from the way he will go about his affairs until this trial is done done with. So what am I saying?
Okay.
It's important.
Leonard Silk, if I may butt in, that would be a great place to conclude our thought. Thank you so much for your time. We're totally out of time. So my sincere apologies. Mr. Paul Ananaba, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, joining us to speak on this recent Supreme Court pronouncement on Nnamdi Kanu's case, joining us virtually. Thank you so much. And also here in the studio in Lagos, Mr. Wahab Shitu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for your very insightful thoughts on this. Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So, we have the last talk.
In Biafra liberation. Mwa! I will be your end. In Biafra liberation. Mwa! Ga kuchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie bunu si anyunsi. Obuno ebunu si anyunsi kunu si emebi Biafra. Aga ma kuchia ya gwogwo. Obuno onu jeri nni kunu je emebi. Aga ma kuchia onu. Kuchia ya pim until Biafra come. Mpopeye again. So I will be your last bus stop. For us, anything you did not hear from this platform doesn't exist until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out, it will shock all of you. You're watching the program. Do not allow Satan enter you. Only him and his God knows why he said such to me.
So Biafrans, this is how we do it for today. And the news has been made very, very clear.
Administration of Criminal Justice Act and the Constitution.
So if President Tinubu doesn't respond positively to your call, I know you've expressed optimism, but if he doesn't respond positively to your call, what will be your next move?
There is no next move because I believe he would respond.
No, but
together. And the killing of people to the
Biafrans, yeah, there is another super chat in this place. Linda Zita. Thank you, Linda Zita, Ifoma Imo. Thank you. We Biafrans are ready for any move they take. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. May God Almighty use the restoration of Biafra to reward you. Thank you, Biafra. Love you, and the Biafra is coming. Yes, Biafrans, please. We are running. We are already out of time. The landlord and the warlord, we have to allow them to sleep. So, but if it is for me, I will serve Biafra 24 hours of the day. So, this is how it goes for now, and how we stop it.
Integrate the zoo shouldn't come to anybody as a surprise. Our promise is very simple. If they fail to give us Biafra, Somalia will look like a paradise compared to what will happen to that zoo. It is a promise, it is a prayer, it's a pledge, and it's also a threat to them. They must understand this, that we've had enough of this nonsense.
Self-preservation must be protected at all costs. Today, the Biafra Liberation Army have neutralized dozens of these terrorists in our land, and we are proud of them. They will continue to go down. Our demand is very simple. Pull them out of Biafra land. Remove every checkpoint. If you do not dismantle all the checkpoints, they will continue to die. We will continue to excel. We will continue to deal with Nigeria, and Nigeria will never ever remain the same until Biafra exits from Nigeria. A government that uses violence will be responded with the same and equal measure of violence in self-defense. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu asks Simon Ekpa, don't allow Satan to enter you. If you have any other person that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told such thing, please come forward. I want you to come forward. Do you have any other person? I am the only living Biafra publicly. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu asks in the public, in the presence of the entire world watching the program, do not allow Satan enter you. And in Biafra liberation, Mwa ga kuchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m kuchia ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji emehi, aga m akuchi ọnụ unu, kuchia ya kpim until Biafra come. Mpope again. So I will be your last bus stop.
So Biafrans, we call it a day. You see all this brown envelope. This is how they lose the game. With 1,000 men wisdom, and we are ahead of them. We will change our program from tomorrow after State of the Nation program. Tomorrow, that is State of the Nation, means another file will be open. PM will go open another file. There are files we cannot touch, but tomorrow he will open it. Just try to be a member tomorrow and join us as we connect online. Thank you, and God bless you, all the people that give us super chat. And you have heard it that our PM Aburugo Apichigo ha ebe ọbụna ha si emeditin. It has been
kuchi ite unu, kuchie ma ike unu, kuchie ebe unu si anyụ nsị. Ọ bụrụ na ebe unu si anyụ nsị ka unu si emebi Biafra, aga m kuchia ya gwogwo. Ọ bụrụ na ọnụ unu ji eri nri ka unu ji emehi, aga m akuchi ọnụ unu, kuchia ya kpim until Biafra come.
Yes. So thank you. Same. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Wisdom. Thank you. Everybody that is here. Thank you. We call it good night. Elo Chuku Patrick is also here. Divine. Thank you. Aneti. Wizu. Thank you, everybody. Flora Kubilo, we love you. Our voice is very, very low now. So maybe tomorrow before the time will come. Harry, none of these people I have seen as a lawyer. So please, our voice is